listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Welcome to the Sportz Nutz. This is episode number 122. We hope you guys had an absolute amazing weekend. I know I had a good week going into the weekend. Good gracious, Brandon! But it's been a nice, enjoyable week to say the least. But my man's sitting right next to me, Matt. What's going on, man?
Hey man, hope I'm doing better these sense of direction. But nah, man, everything's good. Everything's good, man. Brendan, that's like the 8th time in a row you pointed to the wrong way.
So look, the way it looks on my computer, you're right here and Shane's right there. That's how it looks on my screen.
You can turn the mirror off.
Sure, exactly.
You can turn the mirror off.
You know what, Hush? Here, I'm going to even prove to you right now, Matt, and show you what it looks like.
You don't have to prove it. That it's okay. No, but nah, man. Everything's been good, man. Ready for this weekend. Ready to sit back, relax. Been working like a madman this week, so I'm ready to just fall back and eat wings and French fries all day.
So, well, today is National French Fries Day, just so you know.
Exactly.
Shane, what's going on, brother?
Oh, not much, man. Getting geared up for the weekend. We got a bunch going on, man. Super excited about tonight. Our special guest. Just ready to get into it overall. It's been a long week for me too. A long day today, but got some stuff accomplished. Glad for it. So monkey off the back kind of deal. So man, let's get into it.
Amen on that one. I got to give a quick shout out, everybody. Today is a very special. As everybody knows, this week's been kind of a rough week. It's my 2-year heart anniversary since I had the Widowmaker, and it's been kind of an emotional roller coaster. However, today has been a blessing. 11 years ago today, I got down on one knee and I asked my forever partner, my soulmate, my wife, Cassie, to marry me. And she said yes. And we are going on our 10-year marriage anniversary when we have 4 beautiful girls. Life is perfect with them. And I love you, Cassie, and happy anniversary, babe. Guys, we have an absolute amazing episode lined up. I mean, we are going to be joined by a young lady who she has an amazing show on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. Her name is Ku'ule Agbayani. She's a fantastic radio host. You're going to love hearing all that she has to share with us, and I cannot wait to get her going on. But then after, obviously good things do come, and she will unfortunately have to leave because she does have a life over there, and I'm perfectly fine. But guys, college football literally, in general, is knocking on the door. Come on. Can I get an amen? Football is only here. We're going to talk a little bit about college football. We're going to talk about a team Matt mentioned actually a couple of episodes ago, Ohio University. They've had conversations with the Sun Belt and other conferences. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then I want to ask everybody this question. Who is poised to have a breakout season this year in the NFL? Some experts do have it as Baker Mayfield. We'll talk a little bit about that one. And then, guys, this is an actual question, and I think I'm going to ask Ku'ule the same question. Which college football team has like the sexiest looking uniforms and helmets that you've ever seen? You can choose 3, okay? But it has to be college football only. And then, guys, since football season is about to get going, I want to know what's your tailgating food of choice. And you got to describe your favorite tailgating experience that you've ever had at either a college football game or an NFL football game. And I want to know more. I definitely want to know about that one. And why do you think, or who do you think is or was the best trash talker in the NFL? You can use even the one, how you hear him on the hot mic. You can use some of those. Just keep it rated G. Matt's going to talk about fantasy football. Shane has a story to talk about what is actually coming up with Major League Baseball. And Shane is also going to break down episode 4 of the Training Days, talk a little bit about the money lines. And then, guys, we have a jam pack. We can't wait to go in. Without further ado, we are going to bring our guest on. Ku'ule. Auntie, how are you?
Hello. How are you guys? Hello, Brandon and Matt and Shane. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm actually quite nervous. I tweeted about that because it is different, right? Like being on the opposite side. So I hope I can live up to the expectation that you have set forth now for your viewers. And that almost made me more nervous because that intro was so awesome. So bear with me. But it is different being on this side for sure.
Oh, it's perfectly. Look, I'm honored. I've watched every episode that you guys post. I listen. I have it also linked for Podbean. I love you guys. Waking Up in the Den is such like an awesome show. Y'all have like a seriously good little like gel going on there, and I love it. So I want to get right into it. Obviously, we're excited. Gosh, I'm actually like a kid at a candy store. I'll tell you this.
Thank you so much.
We're literally 1 year away from full membership of UH joining the Mountain West Conference. I mean, it shouldn't have taken this long, honestly. But what type of competition do you think UH, the entire like student athletes, are going to experience once we make that transition into the Mountain West Conference full time?
I think the biggest transition obviously is going to be, and the biggest question mark and something that fans are looking forward to, is the level of competition in basketball, and specifically men's basketball, right? Because the Mountain West in men's basketball has proven to just be super competitive. They've been a multi-bid league into the tournament, where the Big West is just a single team been into the NCAA March Madness tournament. I know on the women's side of the Mountain West in women's basketball, they're not as strong. Usually UNLV within the last few years have been dominating that, which bodes well though for Rainbow Wahine, because I think they can instantly compete in the Mountain West. And then soccer, women's soccer, definitely there's some competition there. Obviously with football, we already know how that's going, but I am curious to see with Northern Illinois and how Hawaii competes with a team like that. So this is something to definitely look forward to for sure. And I know a lot of fans are excited. Obviously, I think the Hopium dream was that there would be some tie-in to the Pac-12, but as we've been seeing it right now, the Pac-12 doesn't look that much better, if they even do look better than the Mountain West. I'm always going to say that the Mountain West looks better regardless, for sure.
Well, the Pac-12 2.0 reminds me of is the old WAC.
Exactly.
It reminds me a lot of the old WAC. And for people who don't know, the WAC used to be like the conference for a extremely long time. I mean, you had the likes of BYU, you had UTEP, which is going back to the Mountain West. You had TCU. I mean, just the level of competition that was truly there for the WAC is just amazing. Shane, you have a question. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, as you can tell, we're big college football fans anyway around here, but we saw the release of the ESPN or the EA Sports College Football 25 last year, and it didn't have Hawaii having a home field at all. In this year's edition, gladly they brought in the TC Ching complex to the game, but we've hit on it before. The new Aloha Stadium is supposed to break ground this year. Can you give us in a little bit of an excitement that you see around town? With that actually coming to fruition.
I don't know if you would call it excitement. It's more erring on the side of caution. I know us in Hawaii are kind of used to the things getting pushed back, and we haven't had the confirmation that the contract has been executed. Now, the contractors have already submitted their permits for the demolition, so that way they could kind of afford a little bit more time, so that once the contract is executed, they can start demolition and not necessarily filing those permits after the contract is executed. So kudos to them. They're trying to work ahead, anticipating that contract deal will happen. But as of now, we can't really get too excited because we don't know how much it'll get pushed back. It's been said in the past too that if the contract isn't executed by a certain date, then the entire timeline will fall after that August 2028 hope that it'll be ready for Hawaii and Kansas football game in that year. So I think, like I said, we're erring on the side of caution. I haven't reached the excitement just yet. Once that contract is official, then we can start getting excited.
So extremely hopeful at that point. Then.
Yeah. And because we, outside of sports, we've seen the Row project here get pushed back and all of that stuff. Now, it's a little bit of a different situation with the stadium, with the private-public partnership. So I think the stadium will, once the contract is executed, it should be on pace for the timeline when you have the private funding that needs to hurry up and get things built so that they can start, making their money back and then some. But Yeah, we're just waiting until we get that contract official before there's any excitement on our end for sure.
We know it's weird, aunties, to say this. It's been 5 years since they condemned Aloha Stadium, and they still haven't taken down the rust bucket. I mean, I've had the privilege of going there. I can recall many a times the fans. I was there when Boise and Hawaii played for the white title in 2007. I remember the stadium shaking the entire time. It was just an electric environment. I mean, it was just something to behold is watching football in paradise. It's an amazing adventure. Matt, go ahead.
Yes. Now, first off, like Brandon mentioned, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate this. Now we're going to kind of switch gears just a little bit, but for listeners who may not know you well, can you share your journey in sports and what inspired you to get into this field?
I gonna be honest, I got in almost by chance / accident. 100%. I mean, from like the thing that ties all of us together, I naturally had a passion for sports growing up. I just loved to watch sports. I grew up watching UH football and basketball with my dad. He's like, we could watch it on TV whenever it was on. That was kind of how it started. And then from an athlete standpoint, I played soccer, volleyball, gymnastics. I surfed. I did a lot of stuff as a kid and growing up. And athletically in high school, I competed in soccer and basketball, and college and soccer. So I was just always around the sports scene. But then in college, I actually studied criminology and criminal justice. So nothing to do with broadcasting, not journalism, not any of that stuff. And when I graduated in 2009 from Chaminade University, shout out Chaminade, that was when the recession was happening. So a lot of not really companies, but I think not even the HPD was really hiring. Everything was specialty. There were no internships in like the CIA and FBI and stuff that I was looking at. So I kind of needed a job, and I was working at a restaurant in downtown during my college times. And one of our regulars actually worked at another sports station that's here. We won't mention the branding of that station, but it's here. And he worked there at the time and we were just making small chat, and he was just like, hey, or he wasn't even like talking to me, like asking me to apply. It was just conversation and saying, he's like, man, because this was in like the summer, and he's like, oh man, it's going to start getting the busy time, I'm going to have to start hiring for football season coming up. And I looked at him, I was like, hire me. And then he was just like, what do you know about sports radio? And I'm like, not much, but I love sports and I can learn, and that kind of, I ended up submitting my resume, did an interview. To be completely transparent, at that time, I'm like 20 years old. I didn't listen to a lot of talk radio at that time. So I didn't know much. I didn't answer the questions very well when he asked me about who some of the talent on their station was. Kids, make sure you do your research when you go in for job interviews. Like, don't do what I did. But I had other experience, like, because he was hiring for a promotions assistant. So I had worked with equipment. I put together like expos and stuff in college and did all extracurriculars. So I actually got hired. And yes, I worked with a lot of the equipment when I first got hired there. Was not on air at all, just all behind the scenes. And eventually, I was actually really I'd hated cracking the mic before. Like, I was deathly afraid of the microphone, like most people are. And sometimes I still am, honestly. But yeah, and then eventually, as I remained there, I just started thinking to myself, like, I wonder why there's why don't we have any women on air? There tends to be different takes. And then I slowly got reps on air. I got to shout out my guy, Kyle Galdera, because he had a show on one of the sister stations there. And he kind of was welcomed me and said, hey, you want to try to co-host with me a little bit and see how it goes? And yeah, and then so I just started doing little tidbits here and there, and digital stuff started, and I don't know, the rest is history. And then I just kind of worked out from there, and yeah, now I'm here. And then now I moved over to another radio station, and that's kind of the quick, I don't know, that was kind of a long story, but that's kind of the gist of everything. I did not plan. I wish I could say I dreamed of doing this when I was a kid, but I did not. But I'm so glad that I am, and I'm fortunate every single day because it's so much fun. It's busy, but it's very, very fun.
You know, it's funny you talk about nervousness. I've been in this industry for a long time too. Every time, even when I do this, if you look, I go before an episode starts because I get nervous, and it's true. My buddy Jacob, he asked me, you know, do you get nervous going on the air all the time? I'm like, absolutely, I do. And you know, then I have to remind myself, I'm talking to friends. That's literally how I see it. That was what they told us in college, is just pretend you're talking to friends, and the nervousness will really tone down. And it's so true. Can you let everybody know real quick where Chaminade is? I know where it's at, but Matt and Shane don't know where it's at.
Yes, again, shout out Chaminade. It's a Division II school here on Oahu. It's actually not too far away, actually, from the University of Hawaii. It's maybe the next ridge over, I guess you can describe it, or on the ridge, because you have UH that's kind of like in Manoa. Obviously, we know that. And then right next door, you would hit Chaminade. So when I was in school, one of my good friends was at UH playing water polo. So I would go to some of the, you know, UH parties and stuff like that because it was just right next door. And yeah, it's really close by. It's a small school. It actually shares the same real estate area as St. Louis High School, which a lot of people are familiar with St. Louis High School because that is where Marcus Mariota came from. And of course, Tua Tagovailoa and a lot of other great athletes as well. But those are probably the two most recognizable names, at least in terms of football right now. But yep, it's the same area. It's a college campus right next to the high school campus of St. Louis.
Absolutely. You know, like we saw, like this change has come. It was announced earlier this summer that the universities can now pay directly to student athletes, and it's going to affect like the whole domino world of sports in general. But how does this affect like mid majors like UH? You know, I mean, there's also like University of Massachusetts. They're a mid major. Like, what does this do for mid majors?
It's definitely going to. It's hard to say, really. And honestly, I have to go back to the fact that I'm glad that UH and the administration hired someone like Matt Elliott to come over and be the new athletics director at the University of Hawaii. And unfortunately, you know, everyone knows my affiliation and how much I did appreciate and love former athletics director Craig Angeles. I know he was on your guys' show as well. Yep. He was so gracious with his time and everything. But of course, obviously, after a while, we do need to move on, and we want to still support the University of Hawaii. And I think Matt Elliott was in terms of the finalists and some of the candidates that we were privy to knowing about, I think he was the perfect hire, at least from now, right? We got to see what happens, but on paper, and I've met him, and just in terms of his background, I definitely have a lot of confidence in him to kind of figure out these next steps in this world, because there is so much. And at this point, it's way above like my mental bandwidth to try to figure this out, because every day I'm seeing stuff come through, right? Like the Twitter feed, and I'm still trying to get versed in what to do, but it's everywhere. I mean, even not just the mid majors, but it seems like even the P4 schools are trying to figure it out, as we see NIL deals being declined right now through the clearinghouse. So I think knowing that the top level schools are having issues, well, obviously their issues aren't as big because at least they still have massive amounts of money. But if they're trying to figure it out, we can only imagine what it is for, the mid-major schools to kind of work their way through this. But as of now, I do have a lot of confidence in Matt Elliott that he, with his legal background, his experience at UCLA, should be able to steer us at the University of Hawaii in the right direction. And hopefully we can get everybody on board to really come together and support, because your guys' guess is as good as mine on what to expect for our mid-major programs at this point. But I think with the University of Hawaii is really special because honestly, they embody what the state of Hawaii is in general, because with limited resources, with having to spend a lot more on travel, and just the student athletes having to travel the distance that up until conference realignment, the schools really didn't know, and the athletes didn't really know what it was like to go on those 2,000-mile journeys or across the country and all of that stuff. So they're at UH, I think at this point, they've been overachieving considering how much resources other schools have, even at the mid-major level. So, when I talk about men's basketball and women's basketball, the fact that they've been able to compete and be successful in the Big West. And I say in the Big West because it's a conference that they're going up against schools that don't have football, where in Hawaii, a lot of resources go to football, and yet our other programs are still able to compete and be successful in a conference where the other schools don't have a football team that competes at the FBS level. So it's a testament, right, to a lot of the staff and the coaches, the student athletes, the fans, of being able to overachieve, in my opinion. I know a lot of fans here, they have high expectations, as they should. We all want to win and have these expectations. But when you really take a step back, I think it's really impressive at what the University of Hawaii and its programs has been able to do, considering that they have all of these elements to work against them as compared to all of the other schools that are on the continent.
And I'm eagerly, I'm awaiting if Matt Elliott's going to get ink, because the Hawaii rule is real, and we haven't seen the Hawaii rule happen in a couple of years now. It's not happening again this year. I mean, do you think he's going to be able to ink in and get us that 13th game in the next coming couple of years?
I think so. Well, it's hard too right now because of conference realignment. So now all of these conferences have more schools, and it's getting interesting and cutting back on resources for all the schools. I mean, you're right. Hopefully we can get that 13th game, but that's kind of I'm sure that's not exactly on the priority list at this point for Matt Elliott with everything else going on, right? I think he's still trying to figure out the charter flight situation this upcoming season. So hopefully, more Hawaii football is more Hawaii football, obviously. That's what we all want to see. But I would imagine that's kind of, on the lower tier of priorities when it comes to everything else that he has to do on, what is this? This would wrap up his second week on the job right now.
Whew. Shane, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Well, in doing a little bit of research, like you mentioned earlier, it's great that you mentioned the basketball program, because I found a story that just came out recently that you guys had an alumni basketball game from players from, I believe, the 2010s to the 2020s. I know it was closed to the public, but I think they said maybe 100 or so family members and members of the program were able to watch. This kind of brings it back. Do you see with alumni, putting the interest back into this basketball program, holding this game? Do you see maybe other sports getting into that as a possibility? And if so, is that another way for the alumni to connect back to this new and upcoming UH community?
Yeah. First of all, that was a fun evening, seeing a lot of the alumni. Majority, I believe it was 13 guys that came out that were in attendance of alumni. Obviously, one of them, Samuta Avea, did not play. I think he's still making sure he's healthy and good to go when he has to go back in August to play professionally. But it was a nice thing. There was only one player, Negus Webster Chan. It was a player that was not a former player under Iran Ganat, but it was just a huge testament of how many players wanted to come back and wanted to show up. You had Brock Steptoe that was coming all the way over from New York, is where he currently is. But when I was chatting with him, he said it was a no-brainer when he got kind of the bat signal to come back and play in this alumni game. And they had a team dinner the other night with both the alumni and the current team. So it was just good vibes all around, and they were all excited and kind of joked about it a little bit, because I know that a lot of fans were a bit upset at this not being open to the public. And I said it before and I'll say it again. It's so
funny you asked that question.
Yeah. It just wasn't, it was put together so last minute that they couldn't get the staffing at the Stan Sheriff Center. So that was kind of the major thing. And, you want to make sure you put on a good event. You want to make sure people are safe, make sure all the restrooms are open, things like that, maybe concessions. So it just got put together really last minute. I saw even some alumni players feeling like, wow, I wasn't invited to this, but that's how last minute it was. It wasn't because they purposely wanted to exclude anybody. It was just more of a operational standpoint that they just couldn't be open to the public on such short notice. But they do want to make this an annual thing. This is kind of been talked about as the inaugural alumni game. And I think that also bodes well to this coaching staff in that they are planning that they will be here past this season, right? Because Coach Ganot is on the final year of his contract, and we'll see how this season goes and see if Matt Elliott wants to extend that and extend him into coaching into the Mountain West. So, but they have the confidence in this team that the coaches will, or at least Aaron Ganot will get that extension, and they can continue to make this an annual thing. As far as the other sports, I believe men's and women's volleyball do alumni games, but it's more of they don't really hype it up as much. And I think because they've been doing it and the basketball one was the first time, it kind of got a little bit of a different attraction and response from the fans. But some of the other sports do the games. Like I know with the volleyball alumni games, they tend to have the alumni game before an actual match that is scheduled for later that evening. So if fans want to come early to the match that they're already going to watch, then they can come to the alumni match and then stay for whatever's happening, whatever match UH is playing in after that game. But with basketball, as we know, it's difficult in terms of scheduling around recruiting. Like when you look at the women's side, I know pretty much all the women's coaches for basketball are all on the road recruiting. So it's a lot, And that's why I think this was more of a test on, okay, this seems to be the good timing. It seems when we can also get at least enough players to fill two teams to make it competitive. And there were just a lot that went into it. But I know fans were very disappointed, and some former players were a little disappointed that they didn't hear about it or weren't invited. But again, it was last minute, everybody, and it wasn't trying to exclude anyone. It was more of just the operational side of staffing at the Stan Sheriff Center and all of that stuff, that why it wasn't open. But again, inaugural event, and looking forward to doing it in the future.
Yes, we're excited about that too. Matt, go ahead.
All right. Now, you've covered a lot of Hawaii athletics. So what do you think makes the sports culture in Hawaii unique compared to the mainland?
I mean, I guess just the fact that it's the big show in town, right? Like we don't have any professional teams. I know there are other states that maybe don't have professional teams in all sports. And then you have bigger states like California that have multiple professional teams and all that stuff. But in Hawaii, it's just, and because we're such a tight-knit community, you're not that far removed from personally knowing a player, multiple players, or coaches, right? It's always someone's sisters, brothers, uncles, cousins, like everyone kind of has intertwined with each other. I mean, with Timmy Chang, like back in the day, he actually used to date my older cousin. Then I would see him at family gatherings when I was like in
now that's kind of cool to say that though, too.
Yeah, like 6th, 7th grade, right? Like, and this is when he was a star player at St. Louis when he was in high school. And then I think they might have been still together in like his first couple of years at UH. But so it's stuff like that. Like you kind of get intertwined in the community, and they don't necessarily always feel like how they do at some of the bigger schools on the continent, where you're just so far removed from knowing any of the athletes personally. But here you're going to see someone out at some barbecue or out at the beach or something, right? So I think there's that passion there of not having any pro teams here, and then just that personal passion because it feels like they're just our family, because we're not far removed from anybody, or too far removed from anyone that's on the team. And it's all across the board too. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen or you heard it on the show on how much we cover and talk about high school sports here too, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
it's big here because people are just passionate about all of that stuff. So yeah, definitely high school sports is a big deal. I've only been told like maybe Texas football compares so slightly to how passionate people are of their state high school sports. But over here, we're not just passionate about high school football, that we're passionate about pretty much all high school sports. And yeah, it's more of just being the tight-knit community that we are here in Hawaii, I think, is why it's so different and so special, of course, than those on the continent.
You know, I'm actually friends with Brian Moniz. Great guy. I love him.
Yay!
He played at for the Georgia Forest Arena football team, and just a great guy in general. And I know he's coached his daughter's flag football team. So you're right, when you have that tight knit community. I mean, we've had Ashley Lily on the show. Great guy, absolutely. I loved him when he was on, and he said him and his family always look forward to leaving Kona to come over to Oahu so they can actually do stuff, because there's not where they're at. They're kind of like no man's land, which is it's very common. So I live in Easley, South Carolina. Shane lives in towards Asheville, and we're kind of like in the boonies, basically, is how you can see it.
I don't
He's
know
more
about
so
that.
than me. He's more so than me.
I don't know about that. It just takes a little bit for people to get up the mountain.
Yes, they are.
Yes, and look,
epitome of boonies.
Matt's telling you, we live in
Yes, they do.
Easley is a very small town. We're 15 minutes away from downtown Greenville, and we're 30 minutes away from Clemson University. Real big college town as it is. And you know what it's like to be at college towns. So it's great to have that tight knit community. Obviously we know a lot has still yet to come for UH athletics. I did see the picture yesterday that was posted about the new shirts, and people have had mixed reviews about them with the Nike and stuff. What is the sentiment? Obviously, we didn't have a lot of Adidas apparel come out. That was actually very frustrating to a lot of people, me being one as well. But what can we expect? Do you know? Have you maybe had like an inkling, an idea of when we could actually see the Hawaii uniforms for the football program, even basketball?
I am hoping. Well, at the alumni game, they did wear like I don't think it'll actually look like that at the actual game. I think this was more of their practice design uniforms that they wore at the alumni game, because those were Nike and Hawaii basketball across the chest and everything. So, and I believe the players that played in the alumni game could keep those. But I can imagine the game jerseys will look a little different. Those are probably their practice jerseys. For football, I have to credit Michael Lescaro with this, one of our guys that pointed out that we could potentially see the Nike uniform for football. And this is just speculative. This is not confirmed whatsoever with the football program, but potentially maybe see some type of, I don't know, prototype in a sense at Mountain West Media Days next week, because when you go to Media Days, they do have a portion of the Media Days where the student athletes put on like the helmets and the uniforms, and they do the little photos and stuff with the green screen and everything like that. So they're going to need a uniform to put on, and it's not going to be, Adidas or so. That's kind of, I'm like, that's a good point, Michael, so that maybe we could see something at Mountain West Media Days next week. But I haven't really seen any renderings or anything of the uniforms, but fingers crossed that we might get to see something next week for Media Days. And as far as apparel, I mean, I'm like you, like I'm hoping there's more push to sell apparel, especially to get fans excited about being with Nike again. And yeah, but that people will go out and buy stuff for sure if and when all the teams start winning. And I hope I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this, but I think I've said this on the show before. I hope there is more, and I don't know if this was an Adidas problem, but I hope there is more anticipation and planning ahead when it comes to big games or big events that kind of line up with selling jerseys or selling T-shirts that match jerseys, because kind of the themes of the jerseys, right, that are going to happen on certain games. And say if they wear those jerseys and then you have the week of or the week after the T-shirt version of said jerseys or things like that. Things that, fans can by that they can feel like they're actually part of and wearing something similar to what the uniforms are that they see on the court, and hopefully with Nike.
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm extremely like a kid at a candy store. I have a lot of UH outfits. I mean, I have a Colt Brennan jersey, which it will never be touched because it is Colt Brennan, and he's an absolute legend for the state of Hawaii, for the team, everything, for the school, everything. And we saw ESPN did a recent shout out renderings, the legends, and Colt Brennan is a legend. He is still the only player that dyed his hair for the island chain in it. Just a great overall experience with him. But what this is an absolute kind of like a must-win season really for football. And I've seen there's been a lot of 4-star recruits coming in for the 26 class. That's exciting. That's really good for a mid-major to really land so many 4-star recruits. And could this be the year UH finally gets back to the Hawaii Bowl?
I believe so. And this is not me being optimistic, because I do always tend to err on the side of positivity, but this is being very realistic. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to be close to having the undefeated season that we did when Colt Brennan was the quarterback here, but I do believe Hawaii is going to be competitive from what I heard, and which is why I can't wait till fall camp starts so we can really see is that this is the best the offense has really looked, and that's something that is good for head coach Timmy Chang. Now, what Braden Shager did for Hawaii, we can't go on without just talking about him and just being able to stay here in Hawaii, considering he wasn't recruited for the offense that we have. But you could see the difference in that last game against New Mexico when Micah Alihado got the start and the type of numbers that he put up. And so I heard too that this is usually when it comes to, and this is not full practice or full camp, obviously, but when they break up into the units and the offense and the defense go against each other, like if we look back in the spring, from what I've heard, most times it's kind of been the defense always has been shining, right? And we've seen how good the defense is, and Dennis Thurman and co they just have an incredible set of coaches there for the defense. But then now I guess it's kind of somewhat even, and even to a point where maybe the offense is kind of starting to shine a little bit more than the defense. I'm sure the defensive coaches would love to hear that, but it's still going to be competitive at practice too, right? But yeah, from what I heard, the offense looks great. And I do think I think a lot of people and people that I've been talking to, that they believe that this is the best team so far that head coach Timmy Chang has had. And that bodes very well because, again, like you said, it is a must win, but I do believe they will get to that bowl game. And right now, I mean, in some places, we were seeing that the win total is at 6.5. I think at MGM, if I'm not mistaken, it might be at 5.5. So even the odds makers kind of have it up there, because I think last season it opened at, I want to say 4.5 and then bumped up to 5.5. I think Timmy's couple years ago, it was as low as 3.5, right? So slowly but surely, there's also more confidence around the country, and at least with the odds makers, that, hey, Hawaii is going to start to kind of trend upward. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the fact that Micah Alihado had the type of showing that he did against New Mexico. And this Stanford game in week 0 will definitely tell us a lot about how this upcoming season will go, because Stanford, as we know, is anticipated to have a down year this year. I think their win total is at 3 or something like that. I think they have the lowest win total out of all the P4 schools. So on paper anyways, as it goes right now, very winnable game for Hawaii, even though the game itself, Hawaii is listed as the underdog. But if Hawaii can come out, it is at home. They've played very, very well at home, and the big question mark has been on Hawaii going on the road. But if this Stanford game, and they could show up and show out like they did it against New Mexico, I think fans will definitely get really, really excited of what this season will hold. And then, of course, though, you got to turn around and play a road game against a pretty competitive opponent and against a former coach in the Mountain West at Arizona.
Yeah, it's going to be a good season. I'm kind of with you. I err on the side of caution always. But I do have this feeling that this team we're starting to see the trend upward, that's what everybody hopes to see happen for UH. And the football team is fantastic. Real quick before I let you go, Koo, do we know if Timmy is going to put back the ha-ah? Because I haven't seen it in forever and a day, and I'm really looking for. I talk about Hawaii used to do the haka dance, and they changed it to the ha-ah. Can we see? Do you know if we're going to see that anytime soon?
I have no idea, honestly. I don't even know how, if game day operations will change a little bit and how they do game. I feel like they've always made tweaks to the game day stuff, every single year, because, we've had where they even flip-flop sidelines, right? So they had that going on. So I feel like every year there's always kind of a little bit of a change, but we'll see. I'll be with him next week at Mountain West Media Days. So I'll try to shoot me a message and try to remind me to put that question in there and ask him for you and what we can expect on game day.
I'd be down for it. Absolutely. Cook and Auntie, can you tell everybody where to find you, please?
Yes, you can find me on social media, either on Instagram or on Twitter. Very, very active on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, at Kule Agbayani. So just how it's spelled on the screen there. I know for non-Hawaii listeners, my name is probably completely foreign sounding and foreign looking to you. So it might be a little difficult, but without what we call an okina between the U's there, but just Kule Agbayani on social media. And then you can follow our radio station at Hi Sports Radio. That's HI Sports Radio, and check out all the content that our team puts together when it comes to, if you want any of the sports stories. We have a ton of stuff, whether it's the local colleges here or high school, and high school football recruiting, obviously, we know is a big thing for anyone out there listening that is looking forward to some of their other schools landing some big-time Hawaii recruits. We have an excellent team with Paul Brecht and Michael Escarrow that puts together and tracks everything here. So you can go to hawaiisportsradio.com to find all of that stuff as well. And then check us out on our YouTube channel, where we stream live every single Monday from 8 to 10 a.m. Hawaii time, and then watch it on demand. And yeah. Oh, for all of you football, I should plug that too, that everyone's watching, because on Monday's show, we got a special guest, and it's going to be a lot of football, as we will have UH football defensive line coach Jeff Reinbold that will join us. Oh, my good friend Jeff. Yeah, so he'll join us in studio on Monday, and he can talk story, so it'll be a fun time on Monday morning. But everywhere, just if anything, just Google Hawaii Sports Radio, and we should be the first thing that pops up for everybody.
Awesome. And, give a shout out to Jeff. We had him on our show too. Great guy. Absolutely enjoy him.
I enjoyed that show for sure.
Yeah, he's everybody in general, UH, love you guys. Auntie, I appreciate you. Mahalo for everything, and we'll talk soon. Sound good?
Thank you. I do want to give a shout out, because I heard in the intro you were talking about you're gonna talk about Ohio football. So I got to give a shout out to the Ohio University Bobcats, because Coach Smitty is over there, and I love that guy. I wish him all the success in Ohio. He used to play for the University of Hawaii. He used to coach for UH when Nick Rolovich was the head coach here not too long ago. And that was the last time we started to see the upward trajectory of UH football. That 2019 season, if we were going to choose a final game to have at Aloha Stadium, that Hawaii BYU game was chef's kiss. Shout out to Ohio University and Coach Smitty over there, his first year as head coach going into this season. So I wanted to make sure I gave that little plug over there. But thank you guys so much. Take care of yourself.
Mahalo again, okay?
Bye. Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
What an awesome guest. Thank you again to Ku for coming on. It means a lot to us. All right, I'm excited to talk to everybody about this one. Guys, we're literally only a few weeks away from the start of football season. I'm talking the clapping of the pads, the smells, the sights, everything. I cannot wait for it. And college football, guys, it's literally knocking on the door. We have week 0. It's about to start. Should they add more matchups for week 0? Obviously we know every year University of Hawaii is going to get one. You heard Ku just mention there, Hawaii plays Stanford week 0. But what do you think? I'm going to start with you, Matt. Remember, Georgia Tech went to Ireland, and they won a really big game. But that was a great matchup. That's good quality football to watch. Do you think other programs should follow suit and actually consider adding a game on week 0.
Yes and no. Yes, because hey, man, for the fans' perspective, we just want to see football. I mean, let's be honest. That's what it is. We just want to see some football. And then you have the fans of teams, that are playing in week 0, and it's always a pleasure when your team wins. But I also say no because, man, you have to have that anticipation. I mean, it leaves you wanting more. It leaves you wanting more football. It just. I guess it just scratches the itch just a little bit, but you're still itching. You're still itching. So, yes and no, man. I mean, I can see it coming from both ways. Yes, because you want to just see some football, and no, because, the anticipation still has to be there for your team, coming in, for your team playing next week. I can't get the words out. I can't talk today. I need to drink some water.
It's okay. What do you think, Shane? I mean, obviously, it's football. Football's back, baby. But it's just, what do you think? Do you think they should add more teams to the week 0 transition?
So my thing on week 0 is it's a big promoting kind of deal. They wouldn't put a week 0 in with ESPN if they weren't making money off of it. So what I think should happen, I think with the money that the athletes are getting now with NIL and the way that's going, I think that there will be a 13th game added to the season possibly. And I think it will be that week 0, but I think it'll only be a few selected teams that have that, 13th game, like the Chick-fil-A kickoff, the Dukes Mayo Classic that they have up in Charlotte, kind of these specialized neutral site games, I think should be all moved to week 0. With that being said, the international game is taking off like we saw the crowds that last year in Ireland and all. I think that they're going to plan more games around that internationally, and so I think those games should be week 0. Definitely, that gives the teams the time to travel and get acclimated to that transition. But also, I think week 0 would be a great opportunity for ESPN, kind of like we're going to try to do this football season, kind of showcase the other side. Maybe the mid-majors kind of get involved where, you see the MAC contract on Wednesday nights on ESPN. It gives people the opportunity to watch those conferences, and with everybody combining to make these super conferences in the group of 5 deal, I think that's more realistic to say that week 0 could be their headline matchups to prove that they do have the competition and the skill against these Power 4 conferences.
You're right. You hit the nail on the head on it. I'm excited just to say football is back. I mean, come on, guys. Just remember this. And Train just hit the nail on the head. Week 0 was the beginning of Florida State's horrific season. Boy, was
Loved
it
it.
ever. We loved it. All right, so Matt, you mentioned this school earlier. Ohio University, they have started having the conversations to get out of the MAC.
Mm-hmm.
Who have they talked to? They've talked to the Sun Belt, the Atlantic, the All-American, or the AAC, goodness, and the Big 12, just to kind of gauge which conference would take them. And I can tell you guys, I know which one will. It's actually 2, but it has to benefit them, of course. The first one is the Sun Belt. We all know what's going on with the Sun Belt. That merger that was going to happen, it was denied, so it's not going to unfortunately happen. But the Sun Belt is the leading favorite to land Ohio. However, the AAC has also said they would take Ohio, but they have to make sense money-wise. Everybody knows what talks the most. Matt, I'm going to ask you, what other schools do you think, or even conference schools, could leave their conference to go to the bigger money makers? I mean, we know it's written in the rules for the college football playoff that no MAC team can make it. It's impossible to make it. I mean, you have to go like 21. You'd have to go 13-0 every year for the next 5 years to get even possibly mentioned, but it won't happen, obviously. But what do you think? Do you think other schools from the MAC are going to follow suit? And we obviously know what's going on with Conference USA, Al. They're absolutely imploding. But what do you think, Matt?
I mean, we just got to kind of sit back and these teams need to sit back and just kind of, take a look at themselves. And they have to understand, they've had a great season the season before, but they have to look at who they were playing against. You have to look at your level of competition now. Now, same thing with the University of Ohio. If they were in the, let's say, I'm not going to say SEC, if they were in the, different conference, let's just say a different, more powerful conference, but they have won the same amount of games that they've won, and that's no. So, a lot of conferences are looking at that as well when it comes to selecting these teams. As far as who can make that jump, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, it's just like you wake up one day and okay, this team's gonna move. This team's gonna move. This team's gonna move. We don't know until it's getting ready to happen. But a lot of these conferences, man, you can tell that they're looking for change, but it has to make sense. Like they said, like the AAC said, it has to make sense for them as a conference. You're not going to bring a team in that's going to lose against every team in the conference for years and years and years. They want to bring somebody in that's going to compete and that can match the recruits that they have
and bring them the money. It's
exactly.
The money. Money talks. What do you think, Shane?
Well, I mean, we've said it. I've said it before. I know that the same lines. Money talks, and competition on the field talks as well. The only way that you're going to be able to compete is to have the money, and so that's why, as I hinted in the earlier topic, these mid-major group of five kind of guys, like we're going to see a true group of five, in my opinion, if not only a group of four, because you're going to have, 16 to 18 team mega conferences that are mid-major schools that are, good at some facet, but they're all going to have to combine together to be able to put the money on put the product on the field. I forget who it was earlier this week, but it was, it's the college sports world is basically almost just like the NFL. I think it was Dion that said it in media days. But I mean, this is the whole reason why Bill Belichick has his players taking a class that is strictly about sports management and money management kind of deal. It wasn't even a class until he got there and made it like, it's not a official class, but they've got to take this course, to learn how to deal with the money and stuff, because that's what everybody's throwing around now. And, our guest Koo mentioned it earlier, people are turning stuff down, but it's because, sometimes they've got enough sense to be able to navigate this hairy landscape of NIL now. But I think that, we'll see these super conferences, but we'll see the money being made and shared upon the conference as a whole. So I think that's going to help out, but it's it might force the NCAA's hand to where they're going to have to do something, considering maybe subdivisions and stuff like that, and then it's going to get really messy.
It'll get real dicey real quick on that one too. You hit the nail on the head on that one. Absolutely. I got to ask this question with you guys. Which college football team do you think has the absolute sexiest uniform and helmets? I mean, who mine is. Mine is the University of Hawaii. That if you guys have never seen, the Hawaii has a white helmet, and it has the island chain on one side. It has the UH logo on the other. Really cool. It's actually was mentioned on ESPN's top 35 best looking helmets is University of Hawaii. That's a real stat for them, right? I like UH's uniforms. I think they're just, the all black uniforms. I mean, I've seen a lot of great ones out there. UTEP has some really cool, University of Texas El Paso has some really cool ones. Texas Tech, just to name a few. Matt, we saw Georgia Tech did make an announcement this year of new uniforms, but I want to ask you, start with you, Matt, real quick. Who has the sexiest uniform and helmet in your opinion? You're muted.
I don't know, man. I think I saw, as far as helmets go, man, I like Minnesota ones. I think they were like a gold one. It's like a gold helmet. It was like gold, reflective, shiny helmet.
The gold chrome.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
those are really cool.
I like those Minnesota ones, man. As far as jerseys go, I don't know, man. Well, also helmets. I like Texas too. I like the Longhorns. I like their whole burnt orange kind of scheme that they think they have going on. But Minnesota definitely my number one. I like those gold helmets, man. Gold chrome helmets.
Oh yeah, they're pretty sexy looking there. What do you think, Shane?
Oh man, well, I went a little bit too far because I love.
He went down the
football.
rabbit hole.
Yeah. But man, you got to mention Penn State all white.
Yes, the whiteouts.
The whiteout in Happy Valley. But some of the special jerseys that you think of are TCU with the what Blood Frog is what they call it whenever they come out with those uniforms. Oregon with their throwback or Mighty Duck, either one of those combinations is a great one. And then I like the Maryland black uniforms. Just they're kind of
with the Maryland flag in it.
Yeah, well, no, just the new one that they had this year, just black with the red, white, and yellow stripe on the shoulder. It's simplistic, but it's great. My biased opinion was after Virginia Tech's redesign this past year on their uniforms. They're all whites, with the burgundy helmet, and then the numbers being in the grayish because of the Hokie stone and everything. It's just simplistic and clean and just looks right.
Yeah, I mean, just again, folks, we can't say how much excited we are for having football back. One last question I have about football, and then I'm going to ask Shane about an interesting event that's coming up. And I'm extremely excited to talk about this. Obviously, football season is about to start. What is your tailgating food? And like, it has to be your perfect choice. Like, you're going to go no matter what. This is what you're going to have at a tailgating event. And you're going to attend the game as well. But what is your tailgating food of choice, Shane?
Oh man, well, you got to go with chicken wings. This Traeger that I got, it's the legs fold up. You take it, you plug it in, you put the pellets in it, and you start smoking chicken wings early in the morning.
Can't go wrong with that one.
It's perfect, but you got to have wings, and then for after, you go ahead and cook the Red Hots. There, and I mean, it's a spicy smoked sausage in a red casing. They're awesome. Put them on some loaf bread with some mustard after the game. It'll get you home. But then I make a taco based Rotel dip that's pretty good that I always got to have at my tailgates, and then of course I love some celery and some ranch. Or some tomatoes and stuff like that. So a veggie tray is a must. But some of my best experiences, I'm going to narrow them down to the three closest schools and the most that are dear to my heart that I've been to the most too. But the fairgrounds at Columbia during a football game are awesome. Any IPTAY lot that you go to, but my cousin was privileged enough to be in IPTAY lot 2, right there behind the scoreboard on the closed inside now. It's a very beautiful scene and all, going out there tailgating with them. But then, my number one is at Castle Coliseum. Right there outside, and the parking lot right there outside of Virginia Tech, where they walk down and all that from the field house. Man, there's some of my cousins. They have a spot right there, and they've had it for years. And I think the Jello shot count went from like 100, then it went to 200, then to 500. Now I think she makes over 1,000 of them now to come to the games. But it's a great time, and it's been set out there. You can look across the board, some of the nicest fans and friendliest fans, and you're going to get those at those three atmospheres. They're probably all in the top 15 at least. So that's another thing. But I can tell y'all this: nothing compares to a NASCAR tailgate.
Hey, that is, I've heard a lot of people say that. Matt, I know you've been to a lot of sporting events. What is your tailgating food of choice when you go to a tailgate?
Oh man, you got to keep it simple. Got to keep it real simple here, man. You got to go with the hamburgers and hot dogs. I mean,
oh gosh, yeah.
It's just simple. Sometimes simple is better. Simple is better. And Shane hit the nail on the head too, man, with the wings. So if you can get wings, man, that's a plus. That's a plus. But some of the tailgates, man, especially if you go to if you live here in Atlanta, you go to a Falcons game and you go
the Gulch.
Run out to the area where they do all the tailgating at, man. Man. I mean, you have just thinking about it right now, it has to be salivating.
Hey, my brother-in-law just made a comment for you right here, Shane. The Indy 500 is by far the most outrageous tailgate.
He's never been to Talladega Infield. Never been.
To answer that question, you've been there.
But let me tell you, the Bristol night race, they bring in like almost probably 300,000 fans just in there to tailgate and everything. And I mean, Bristol holds 175,000, which possibly, you guys, Saturday, the 2nd of August, I might take that hour and a half trip up there to watch the Braves and Cincy play. So y'all look forward to some shorts and stuff coming from that for sure.
Definitely down for that one. All right, Shane, you just mentioned baseball. We know something major is about to come. For those who don't know, by the way, breaking news did officially come out today that Ronald Acuna Jr. is not doing the home run derby. Matt Olson has subbed in. But real quick, this message is also for you. Empty beer can mountains all over the place. Indy 500 is a week-long event.
It's got a point there.
You come tailgate with us. We stay for 5. we stay for 5 hours and make one. So.
Absolutely. All right, Shane. Let everybody know, what is this major event that's about to take place, sir?
Well, if I wouldn't have dropped my notebook just then, but man, we're here, guys. It's MLB All-Star weekend. We talked about it being on the weekend, and maybe they listened to us a little bit because they're actually spreading it out over Friday, Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday now. But tonight we've got the HBCU Classic going on. Tomorrow we've got the Futures game and the Celebrity All-Star softball game. Then Monday, as Brandon mentioned, the home run derby. I saw a thing earlier today. Cal Raleigh was the odds-on favorite with
rightfully
with Acuna being second. I think Cal was at a plus 350 and Acuna was at a plus 400. So it wasn't far off, but now with that news, everything's going to change now. Everybody's going to run to the books, as you say. But with what we've seen and stuff like that, the All-Star Weekend, it being back at Truist Park as an Atlanta Braves fan, I'm sad that they missed out on it a couple of years ago whenever everything shut down and stuff like that. But there's a very interesting story that I kind of picked up on as we're heading into the All-Star weekend, and it's kind of a funny storyline that I kind of highlighted. But Pete Crow Armstrong is a center fielder for the Chicago Cubs. Has 25 home runs and 25 stolen bases before the All-Star break, as I was researching. But do y'all remember that movie back in the 90s called Little Big League?
Yes.
With the redheaded mom and the boy that took over for his granddad?
Yes.
Pete Crow Armstrong is the son of the mother on that movie. So she went from playing a role, having a son in baseball, to having a son and being in baseball. So that's a pretty funny storyline. And I believe his dad was an actor too. I didn't do too much research past that, but I love the movie Little Big League. If any of our fans out there want to go watch it, it's a great movie. But man, that was just an interesting storyline that I found, and didn't know if y'all had, kind of.
I didn't know that. That's actually really cool.
Anything in the All-Star weekend and any storylines and stuff like that, if y'all wanted to shout out any if you've seen.
Oh yeah. Hey, Seth just said, so glad they dumped the politics and it's here in Atlanta. Yes. Which, by the way, folks, gotta give a shout out to my niece and my nephew, Sarah and William. I love them. Absolutely. Sarah is my little buddy. Sarah, I still owe you a football game, and we're gonna watch one this fall. I promise. And William, guys, absolutely a gem. I love them. They're fantastic. So yes, but guys, I got to ask this next question, and then Matt's going to quickly talk about fantasy football, and Shane's going to talk about episode 4 coming up. Who do you think is or was the best trash talker in the NFL? The hot mic picks literally everything imaginable up in a football game. We all know there has been a lot of great ones. Everybody remembers Clay Matthews. It's that real what's that wheel route? And Cam Newton said, "You've been watching film. That's good. Watch this." Yes, we know that very well. We've heard just a bunch of people. I mean, there was one game where Cam. It was during Miami game, but Cam Moore walks over and he goes, "We're going to go right here and we're going to score." And it literally ran right through there, and they scored, and Miami, won that game. But I'm going to start with you, Matt. Matt, who do you think is the best trash talker, or was the best trash talker in the NFL that could back up their stuff?
Ooh,
and we know there's a lot.
Can you count Ray Lewis as one?
Yes, you count Ray Lewis.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to count Ray Lewis. But also the best trash talk. Now, the best trash talk of all time is probably Chad Ochocinco.
Yes.
Probably Chad Johnson if you want to do that. But you know what? I'm gonna go Chad here. Chad was the best trash talker in the league, man. I remember
he could back his stuff up.
Yeah, I also remember watching highlights, man, where he was talking smack to Ray Lewis, and Ray Lewis hit him.
Remember he got dacked?
Yeah, he went to the sideline. He was like, "Oh man, I thought I could take Ray, man. I thought wrong."
Yes, I remember that too. It was like an NFL films or whatever.
The coach is like, "What's wrong?" He was like, "Oh,
he's
man,
that hurt.
I tried to hit Ray, man." He's like, "What'd you do that for?" I thought I could take him. I thought wrong.
That's like putting what is that immovable object in front of us or whatever, something like that. It's like putting an inflatable in front of a train and see who wins that battle, kind of thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
what do you think, Shane?
Oh
who
man,
who do you think is the best trash talker in the NFL?
Well, I had Chad Ochocinco Johnson down there, but I was watching NFL films the other day, and how he changed his name because he got a $50,000 fine for Carson Palmer ripping the Ochocinco off of his back when he came out for warm-ups.
Remember when he had the sign that says "Dear NFL, don't find me"?
Oh yeah, well, and that led to the whole name change. But he was a great one. I had Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs when they played together. That was probably the most intimidating and trash talking kind of people that you would have to go against. I'm gonna throw it back a little bit. Lawrence Taylor has been rumored to be one of the biggest and nastiest trash talkers in the game. But my number one favorite trash talker of all time is Mr. Phillip Rivers. He did all his trash talking and never cussed the whole time.
Phillip Rivers is a man among men, by the way. That's a really good. I'm glad you said, because
well, I mean, he had
like all the NFL films about it.
He got drafted with 3 kids,
and he has like what 12 now, doesn't he?
Yeah, and that's the point. Another thing that we might talk about on another episode, which y'all need to stay tuned for, is the father-son duos in college sports coming up between football, basketball, and everything else. Of course, we'll probably date our age by saying that some of the people that we watched and saw coming up through college and all now have kids that are going to be in college. But
Yeah,
man,
like
that's going to be
Fitzgerald's
great.
son.
Oh no! Just go look at Notre Dame's roster for next year.
So
On their recruiting class, they have 4 different sons of NFL players, former NFL players, joining their team.
That's that Kool-Aid they'd be drinking over there at Notre Dame, man. They've been getting the right people.
It's called holy water.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, God, like there's so many. Look, fans are mentioning right here: Phillip Rivers, Odell Beckham Jr. There's so many. Steve Smith was a really good trash talker. But in the stories that you hear about him, how he worked at Taco Bell and then he made it huge in NFL, and then he worked again at Taco Bell just to keep himself busy. Like that's pretty cool, like in itself. And look, Matt will tell you, we don't like to really talk about boast or any of our NFC South opponent.
Calm down.
We will cheer on his story. He was a darn good player.
He got respect. He was a baller, 5'9", 5'8", 5'9", and would go up.
And he backed up everything he did. So absolutely shout out to him.
Yeah, much respect. Much respect to Steve Smith, man. Over the years.
Steve Smith was 10 toes down, no matter what.
And also played with garbage. Oh, I'm not gonna say garbage. These guys made it to the NFL. Played with not so decent quarterbacks, except for until they got Cam Newton. And then they had a few seasons with Cam Newton, man. But crazy gifted athlete.
Super talented, absolutely. And and look. Shannon Sharp, that was a good one. I can remember. Trouble, Matt Steve. Remembers this.
Stay out of trouble, Steve.
You got to remember this too, Matt. And it was the Super Bowl of '98, Atlanta and Denver. And Ray Buchanan said, "You can't tell me that man don't look like a horse." Ray Buchanan was a good guy to talk trash. Unfortunately, he couldn't always back up his trash talk.
Shannon Sharp could back up his trash talk.
Absolutely do that.
Shannon Sharp talks so much trash. He's got his own podcast. It's #1 in the world right now.
Yeah, that's crazy too. All right, so Matt, we've mentioned this before. I want you to kind of let everybody know real quick about the fantasy football pricing and where we can find the link, please.
Yes, but Brandon, before I do that, I just need 30 seconds before we do that. We just want to kind of want to elaborate before the baseball season started. Baseball season started during the first week when the Braves had lost the first few games. Other stations, other people told us that Braves fans need to just hang it up, and we ridiculed them. Too early in the season, this and that. But we over here in the Sportz Nutz, we can take our losses like men. Here, we take our losses like men. We were wrong, guys. We were wrong.
Injury bug did play a role too.
Injury bug played a role. It did. It played as soon as we got somebody back, something else happened.
They're still not out of it.
Still not out of it.
But
we were wrong. We're not going to go 500.
It has to be epic of biblical proportions. The Braves go on this magic run. They win like 40 in a row.
I just wanted to reiterate that or put that out there. That
but
guys,
there's still not a popular radio station in the upstate that we're
we can be wrong sometimes.
How about they take this just like the Chris Sale bit and they run with it, and AA does a complete opposite swap, and now we're back in the 2021 situation again.
Hey, look, man, I'm trying to talk into existence. Shane, you don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing
crazy things have happened.
I'm doing reverse psychology on the game.
Hey. That's what I'm doing. As long as you see it and believe it, it will happen.
Yes, it will happen.
But I just wanted to say that, man. Hey, guys,
But remember, that unpopular radio station in the upstate also likes to bash the Braves daily. We don't, because we care about the Braves. They are our team, no matter what.
Hey, I mean, we've won. Braves have been winners every time. The Braves have been synonymous with playoffs.
Excellent.
How long now?
With excellence.
I mean, it was 14 years in a row that they went to the playoffs. Sure.
I mean, how many years in a row do we win the division? I mean, look, man.
That's the 14 for sure that I'm talking about.
Exactly. But what we're saying is we're licking our wounds. Absolutely. However, we're still not an amateur radio station.
We ain't out of the fight yet.
Exactly. I mean, you're not gonna just come over and walk over us. No matter, even if we lose off of walk-off single in extra innings,
or a walk-off on a inside the park home run to start the daggum game. I mean, come on now.
Oh no. That was a very interesting stat that I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't know. But what was that? 2 days ago?
Yes, 2 days ago against
2
the
days.
Athletics.
Yeah, 2 days ago. The only time ever in MLB history that a game was let off with an inside the park home run, and then was walked off with an inside the park home run in the same day.
Wow.
Thanks for that.
But anyways. Yeah. That's a crazy stat. That's a crazy stat.
Crazy sports stats. I'm full of useless knowledge.
But yeah,
I'm pretty good at bar trivia.
But let's get back to the initial reason why I'm talking. The fantasy football league, guys. Sportz Nutz Fantasy Football League. If you go to my X or my Twitter at Matty D Thomas, like you see down in the corner, you'll see a link that I provided. It's an invitation link. First come, first serve. It's going to be a $10 money league. I'll have the payouts. All the information will be on the site. Just first come, first serve, man. Come and join up. Draft will be August 31st. Which is a Sunday, August 31st at 7:00 p.m. That'll be the draft. So, just come on, join. Winner gets a championship belt. And we go from there. If you like fantasy football, I know it's become oversaturated these past few years and everybody thinks they're experts on it. But we here in the Sportz Nutz, we do have a fantasy football show coming, our fantasy sports show coming up as well. But it's later on. Not to take the lid off.
He's going to toot his own horn, ladies and gentlemen. What are you talking about, Matt? Well, if Matt gives the opportunity to toot his own horn, you best believe he's going to do it.
Oh no, I can't wait for money lines with the Sportz Nutz. That's what I can't wait for. Over unders. I can't wait. But yeah, man. Yeah, guys, come join the fantasy football league. We're going to talk trash.
Right now, do you know?
Also, we're going to have a group chat, a fantasy football group chat as well that I'm going to create, and we're all just going to talk smack to each other, go over things in that chat. So you'll be invited to that chat, if you join the league. So yeah, man. Right now I'm deciding if we're going to do that show. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to do it on Discord. We'll create a Discord and everybody will join in and it'll be fun. So just come on and join, guys.
Come on, come all. Shane, we just had episode 3, Training Days with the Sportz Nutz. Huge success. Shout out to everybody who chimed in. Shout out to the nearly 1,400 live viewers we had that episode. Shout out literally to every guest. We had like 11 people total. Shout out to everybody that was there. But let's give everybody a quick rundown of what to expect for episode 4, please.
Well, episode 4, we're going to do just a strictly AFC East kind of rundown. So we've got guests coming on for each individual team, and I thought since we're going to slow it down with only 4 teams, we're going to try to keep everybody on, and let's do a round table of just a lot of banter and kind of talk back and forth between everybody that might be joining the show. So I think it's going to be one of our funner episodes that we've done during this series, although all of them have been extremely entertaining, to say the least. But definitely looking forward to that. And since Matt brought it up, I'm going to go ahead and tag in on the money lines deal. Our first episode on the money lines is going to be after week 0 of college football. It'll be August the 28th on a Wednesday. So we're going to try to do it on a Wednesday where everybody can go ahead and get their information.
Parlay cards out.
Yeah. Well, get their information from us about the over-unders and, on the point totals and, kind of the spread and, kind of get our amateur opinion on it. And, I've even thought about putting a little bit in, being in the state of North Carolina where it's maybe a little legal.
Talk about a lotto, actually. It's like $15 billion industry up there, by the way.
Oh yeah, but we can maybe put a pot together and maybe make a couple bets on some leg parlays that might be outrageous but could land up big. if anybody's willing. But then another thing that's only an Excel spreadsheet away is all of our picks possibly being converted over to a true win-loss record, and maybe debut at the end of the season kind of deal, like bragging rights, how they do on game day and stuff like that, where they keep their
the top dogs.
what's that? Yeah, the top dogs and stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm down for that.
That's just another thing that we're looking into, and hopefully everybody will join us for that period. But looking forward to next week's Training Days episode, and for the future, especially if Matt comes out with that fantasy thing. I need some help.
Look, guys, we've had an absolute blast of a show, and I again thank Ku'ule for coming on. Fantastic. I have idolized her. She's, by the way, in case you didn't know this, folks, she's the one that broke the news that Big Ten Network shouted us out. So, and then we got the picture, everything. It is well documented. So shout out to her. Really appreciate her. We didn't get to a couple of questions. That's okay. They'll be poised again for Tuesday. We will absolutely tackle them. Our guest is very important, and we had a lot of fun with her. Remember, next Tuesday, it's our normal episode, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You'll see myself, Matt, and Shane as we talk sports world. I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick little poised question for Tuesday so you guys can let it fester in your minds. Who is poised to have a breakout season this year in the NFL? Some experts have had Baker Mayfield. Some whatsoever weird people have said Bryce Young is going to be the NFL MVP.
You watch your mouth. You watch your
mouth. Not going to happen. There has been some unusual.
Can you see open online?
There's some, you know what? There is some crazy people out there. But then, guys, we're going to talk some baseball. We're going to talk some women's sports. You name it, we're going to cover it. We cannot wait to get it going with you. Wednesday, July 16th, it is Training Day. Training Days, episode 4. Friday, July 18th, we have Desmond Johnson of the Tobacco Road podcast. He's going to come on, and he's going to have a good conversation with us. Can't wait to have him on. Really honored to have him on. He is a part of the National Sports Media Association, so he is a legit media member as well. So we're eagerly excited to have him on. We are actually going to have a collaboration joint show with our newest sponsors. Yes, we will. We're not going to tell you who they are because we have to get the whole everything's lined up to have them come on at the same time, but cannot wait to have them on. They are our good friends, Ben, Adam, Deuce, Brandon. It's the whole group. We will let you know who they are.
Good guys. Good guys for sure.
Absolutely. We will let you know who they are in the coming weeks, but we're going to have a lot of fun with everybody. So for all of you who tuned in tonight for everything, for our good friend Ku'ule Agbayani of the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, Matt, what do you tell everybody to do, sir?
Yes, guys, we got the weekend coming up. It's really kind of I'm not going to say it's a boring weekend. I mean, Beyonce's here in Atlanta this weekend. So,
right there.
All
the single ladies.
So when you go out there to see Beyonce tonight or tomorrow night,
just like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, when you see Beyonce, because I heard she comes out in the gold horse. So when you come out there, you see Beyonce tonight. She comes out, and you have fun and you enjoy the show. And it's time to go home. And you've been sitting at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for 2 hours trying to get out of the parking lot. And you finally hit that road. Just remember, guys, just wait till you get home before you start drinking. Last thing you want to hear is the whoops come up behind you, and then you got to spend the night in jail. And
see, Matt has experience by this. In case
you don't want that. You don't want that. They only have one toilet in there.
You don't get real peanut butter and those powdered eggs.
You get peanut butter in the ketchup pack. It's like a ketchup pack, but you pour peanut butter, and the peanut butter is real liquidy, and it's disgusting.
And it comes out real fast.
Breakfast ain't much better.
It's not a good look, guys. So just wait till you get home before you crack open that
adult beverage.
Crack open that can and just relax at the house, man, because it's not worth it.
Excuse me.
Don't get flagged in the game of life.
Excuse me, I'm yawning, you guys. Absolutely. And Shane, what do you tell everybody?
Well, I was listening to music on my way to work this morning and heard a good line. And, God didn't bring you to what he couldn't get you through. So, with that, may the good Lord bless you. Peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease indeed. Remember, like I said, give a quick shout out to my wife, Cassie. 11 years ago today, I got on my knee and asked her to be my forever friend. We're celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary this year, and we have 4 beautiful girls. Thank you so much to my lovely wife. I love you 1,000 times over. And real quick, I got to give a shout out to everybody who has commented, who has chimed in, really sent me their prayers and thoughts. This past week has been a very emotional week. It started on July the 8th, which was Tuesday, July the 9th yesterday, July 9th on Wednesday, July 10th yesterday. It was my 2-year heart anniversary. Yes, 2 years ago, I came within an hour of dying. It really opened your eyes up to a whole lot of how fast life can change in the matter of a blink of an eye. So hold your loved ones close. Don't go to bed angry at each other, because you never know what really could happen. You don't know. 1 minute you're there, the next minute they could be gone. You don't know. So cherish each other, cherish your loved ones, and just know that this journey that we call life, it's not easy, but it's fun. It's a great learning adventure for you. Just enjoy each other's company. Be positive, that kind of stuff. It's not fun to have something like that happen. I'm still battling to this day, 2 years out, to get better. So I got to give a raise my cup though to Matt. Matt was one of the first ones who did check on me when I had the Widowmaker and had the bypass. Shane has been there with me, and you all have been there with us. I greatly appreciate and I love you all more than you will ever know how much, just to have you as our friendship. So here's to you guys, and here's to everybody who is watching. And I cannot, 2 years down, and we're going on another year. Cheers.
Brandon, I just wish that, I was worth more than a cup of apple juice.
That wasn't apple juice. That's not apple juice.
Shh.
I'm done.
Brandon. Yes, Brandon. Of course, man. Of course, man. We're glad, you kind of got through the tough times. I understand it still can be there from a mental aspect, man. I understand going through something like that and how scary that. Well, I don't understand how scary that can be. You do, because you've been through it. So, but then you bounced back very nicely, man. Been able to focus on the podcast and kind of do what you wanted to do. So, kudos.
Brings it back to what I said. The good Lord wouldn't bring you to what he wouldn't get you through.
That's right. As I always tell you guys, peace up, A-Town down. Why it's the greatest sports state ever was. You guys have a wonderful weekend. We will see you on Tuesday. And we promise you there is a new intro and outro coming.
Also, a lot more shorts coming this weekend, guys. We're going to hit you all at once. I'll be nice and just give them the brand. I'm tired of it.
Hey, it is on the air.
It'd be like that shootout on 27th Street in Philly.
Hey, real quick, everybody, just so you know, remember, go follow our friends at TigerNation.live, 95.5 KFCE in Terrell, Texas. We will be airing there. Every episode is aired there. We are getting ready to be broadcasting live. Shout out to San Francisco and Seattle and New Mexico. And yes, we are about to be in New York. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk then. Good night.